purpose, and is the goal of all of us associated with our program to bring you current and educational information surrounding the alcohol and drug epidemics, not only throughout the city of Brockton, but throughout all of our South Shore communities. This evening, we're pleased to have with us Barney Doherty. Barney is a recovering addict, in recovery now for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
And he happens to be a resident of Medford, Massachusetts today, but many years ago, Barney was my next-door neighbor in the city of Somerville. Barney, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Larry.
All right. I can say from personal experience, having been Barney's neighbor, that Barney comes from a good family with his mother, father, who was a retired Somerville police officer, as well as retired from the military, from Marines, I believe.
The Army.
Oh, the Army.
Yes.
Sorry, I came from the Army. Your brother, Timmy, also became a Somerville police officer.
Yep.
So law enforcement is a big part of the family history.
Yes, it was.
And, you grew up with my boys, so I know you well from sports and, being the neighbor next door. So what happened, Barney? What happened that you fell into the addiction?
Well, for me, it was always trying to fit in with the cool crowd, as funny as that may sound, but, it was, everybody was always doing one thing, so I wanted to be in with the in crowd, so I followed suit, and never thinking about the outcome of what the outcome was going to be, and
So would you call that peer pressure?
yes, absolutely.
Peer pressure with the cool crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so I just followed suit, and it brought me down the wrong road.
So when did you start to experiment with drugs?
Drugs, I would say, started off with marijuana in about 7th grade, I believe. And one thing led to another, and didn't matter. Somebody had drugs, and they said, "Hey, you want to try it?" Yeah, sure.
So you started with the marijuana,
Yep.
and as you became more involved with the cool crowd,
Yeah.
so to speak, you went on to, pills next?
After that, I believe it was cocaine, and then it was the pills.
So you went to sniffing cocaine? Or?
Yes, I started sniffing cocaine.
Sniffing cocaine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
on to
the pills came.
pills.
And then...
And did that eventually lead to a heroin addiction?
The pills led me to OxyContin, and that's when I got hooked. That's when I became an addict. I started doing OC80s, like 2 every day, and that was just... I wasn't getting high. I was just doing 2 just to get out of bed in the morning, just to feel normal, so to speak. And then they took the OxyContin off the market, basically, and you couldn't find it anywhere. So OxyContin was a synthetic heroin. So your next move is going to be heroin, just to feel normal again. And I started sniffing it. I didn't start shooting it right away. I always told myself, no, I'll never do that.
Never put a needle in
No,
your arm?
yeah, exactly. And I hate needles, and that's funny.
In general.
Yeah, exactly. And
That with a guy with bare stairs.
no. I did them myself too. Go figure. But yeah, I mean, after a while, sniffing heroin didn't work for me, so that's when I started. I actually had somebody do it for me, use a needle on me, and then. Sometimes people aren't going to be there, so you have to figure out how to do it yourself. Yeah.
Let's back up a little bit, because you touched on an element of the addiction phase where you were taking it just to feel better.
Yep.
So, as you became dependent on, the different types of drugs that you were taking, you would wake up in the morning and feel like crap?
Oh, right when I opened my eyes, and I knew right when I opened my eyes, my first thought was going to be, how am I getting money today, how am I going to not feel sick, how am I going to get out of bed, and I wouldn't move until I figured something out, and that was just no way to live life.
So would it be a situation where you would get out of bed, you would have your fix ready for you, or you would have to
No, see,
go and...
If with me, it was, I would try to save something for the morning, but then I would just wake up every hour at night knowing I had it, and then just do it, not thinking about how I'm going to be sick in the morning. That's how it always worked with me. I would try to, but that's never how it worked.
So how long of a period of time would that fix make you feel good before you started to feel like...
Well, it would make me feel good for about 10 minutes until I fell back asleep. So it was like I was wasting it, basically, but I mean...
So you were sleeping?
Yeah, exactly. Just to feel normal and just to be able to fall asleep. That was my number one thing, was just being able to fall asleep.
And were you still hanging with the cool kids during all of this?
No, that's when I started secluding myself, you know, because you don't really look cool with your face in your lap, so that's when I started secluding myself, and the only time people saw me is when I was out trying to figure something out to get my next fix. So
how to get the next
fix, you know? Exactly. And if they did see me, I was passing by. So
So while you're in grammar school, you're smoking weed, you're accelerating into the coke and the pills and so forth. Did you complete high school?
No, I was told 2 weeks before my high school graduation that I failed and couldn't walk at my graduation. They said if I wanted to, I could come back after the summer and get my GED. I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
and I didn't do that at first. I could have gotten it right after high school, but I ended up waiting another 4 or 5 years till I got it. So.
But you did go back and complete it.
Yes, after I got clean one of the times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So now you're pretty much an addict.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because you're, shooting, snorting.
Yeah.
You need the fix every time you basically wake up.
Absolutely.
The fix makes you feel good for 10 minutes, and you kind of doze off, and it wears off, and then you wake up feeling sick again. Were you working at this point in time?
No, I couldn't do anything really. My whole life revolved around it. Everything else was put on the back burner. Be it friends, family, anything.
So how did the supporting of the habit, how did you do that?
How did I support my habit?
Yeah, how did you support your habit?
Well, with me, I was never the type to, go out and, like, breaking and entering or breaking into cars or robbing people. I was that person on the corner holding up a sign, panhandling for money, basically.
Panhandling,
yes.
okay.
So that was me on the corner. And
so even though you were an addict, you never were caught up in the illicit activities of breaking and entering or stealing from family members or things of that nature?
Well, yeah, I did steal from a couple family members. I did do that, but
there was some activity.
Yes,
like but it sounds like you were never formally caught or arrested.
No, I was never arrested. I'd never had a record or anything.
Right,
so
you never were arrested.
No.
Never probation or and never incarcerated.
Never
From
incarcerated.
that perspective there. I'm sure Dad was sitting on your shoulder saying, "You don't want to be doing that."
Yes, exactly. But I've always felt bad that I was doing that to my family, but it was always, it's because as bad as it sounded, it was the easiest. You know what I mean? Because they trusted you and they love you, so it's just I was always around. I knew I could get over on them basically, but that wasn't me thinking.
That was the drug.
Yes,
that
exactly.
Was the drug
yeah.
Doing it, not Barney.
Because I always felt bad, but I mean, it felt terrible. So
it wasn't so bad that you couldn't have to get that fixed.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sad part about it.
So now you're an addict. You're panhandling more or less to support your habit.
Yes.
Which in most instances is probably a good thing because you're not committing the crimes that so many other addicts get involved in that result in probation or jail time and so forth like that. When did you feel that you needed to do something to right yourself?
When I met my now fiance.
Okay.
Yeah. for some
purpose?
for some reason she saw something in me. Like she knew the trouble I was having, and I guess she saw something in me and never gave up. And so, I told her if it wasn't for her, I could care less if I was alive or dead if it wasn't for her. But I basically did it for her, and now here I am.
So you met this wonderful
Yes.
woman
Mm-hmm.
who's had a positive impact on your
Oh yeah.
on your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you decided to get clean.
Mm-hmm.
Now, many times when we talk with recovering addicts, they aren't usually successful in the first time around. Did you have any times when you were in a recovery?
Like how many relapsed?
Yeah,
Yes.
relapses.
I've been sectioned a couple times by family members, and I went to Bridgewater. I think it was 2 times I went to Bridgewater, completed the 30 days or the time they have you do. The first time I was good for, I think I was clean for a year, I think, and I ran into the wrong person, and I could just do it this one time, and then I kept running into that person, so I can do it again. And then before I knew it, I had another habit, and I was back out on the run. And
So when you mentioned you were sectioned, basically that's section 35.
35, yep.
Where a family, a loved one or a family member basically petitions the court to have you sectioned because you are, in essence, a detriment to yourself
Or
to
other,
the
yes.
general public. And you had mentioned you went to Bridgewater.
Yes.
It's down here on the South Shore. And there was probably no beds available at High Point, so Bridgewater became the...
Yeah, that was their go-to place to put me.
Yeah.
And
Well, tell us a little bit about Bridgewater.
Oh, man.
What type of services, or what was that like?
it's basically like a prison. It's on the other side of the prison, I believe.
It's on the prison grounds.
Yes,
right?
and you get the jumpsuits, DOC jumpsuits, and razor wire all over the fences, and they tell you when to eat, sleep, shower, and all that. And they basically try to scare you into like not coming back to, because you don't want to go back there. So it was a tough time, but
Were there any like clinical services available to assist you in how to recover?
Bridgewater, I tried to steer clear away from anything there. I just wanted to get out of there, to tell you the truth. But I mean,
So probably it was more or less, as you just mentioned, it was more of a prison
yes,
environment.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
had the jumpsuit. You had a regime that
Yeah.
you followed, and
oh yes,
you did you basically detox there at the same time, and then,
yes, and that was a tough place to detox too. They basically give you the bare minimum just to skate by, and they don't treat you like a baby there. Basically, they don't.
You're a prisoner.
Yes, exactly, exactly, and
Or an inmate, as they
Yeah.
say.
So it was tough there.
So you came out of Bridgewater at that point in time, and you were clean for a year.
Yeah,
And again, you fell back in with the
Yep,
the cool
the cool
people
crowd,
again.
yes.
The cool people again. You met up with them, and temptation was there.
yeah, it became too much, and I ended up falling back into the wrong
You
part.
feel you were kind of invincible, that because you had been in recovery for a year that you could.
Like it was a celebration, kind of. Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
But I fell right back into it from running into one wrong person. And,
Right. And
you know.
once you took the first one, you were back
Yeah.
into the addiction mode again. So you go a period of time, and now you're sectioned again.
Yep. They came into my parents' house. I was still in bed sleeping, and I remember it clearly. I had the blankets over my head, and I heard my bedroom door open, and in comes 3 police officers, and I hear, "Mr. Doherty." I look, and there they are, and they handcuffed me and took me out, and that was Bridgewater, stay number 2. But I never went back. So
So you never went back.
No.
So you came out, and you met the lovely fiance now.
well, I relapsed one more time after that, but that's when I met my fiance, and I put myself into Boston Cab Detox. I stayed 7 days there. I did the whole thing, and then they put me into a holding in Jamaica Plain, and I stayed there for 3 months. And then I completed that. I graduated, and then I got put into the Caspar House in Somerville on Highland Ave, and I graduated after 9 months, stayed another 3 months, and then during my stay at the Caspar House, I was working, so me and my fiance were saving up to get an apartment, so I had a place to go when I left the Caspar House, and that's where I am today.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that whole recovery aspect, because that's something that too often people don't recognize, that, you know, you went in, you did a detox, you know, you were then placed in a holding. In the holding area, you're in a safe environment until a kind of facility opens up for you to go in and continue on with your recovery aspects. And while you're there, you're getting counseling and treatment, attending probably different classes, you know, but at the same time, you're probably out there trying to find work.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about all that.
Well, when you get to like a halfway house or a sober house, which I was at, that's the step where you start like getting back to life, basically, and like you go and you do classes, and you have a counselor in-house, and you know, he'll talk to you, take you aside. You have meetings once a week, or if you need to see him, you know, just go down to his office. When I got there, I started looking for a job, and I found a right part-time job just to pay my house fees while I was there, and then I fell into my now full-time job, and I've been there over a year, and they basically just, you know, helped me live life again without the use of drugs, and I started to notice all the little things that before I would just overlook, you know.
So to help you get back on your feet.
Back on my feet and
you know, refocus your life
yes.
into more positive aspects out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it was during this time that you met your fiance, who's with you now. And,
yes.
Going on to bigger and better things today.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, best of luck in that regard.
Thank you.
What do you say to the parents of the addict that's out there today who would be struggling similar to the way that your parents may have struggled when you had to be sectioned, you know, and they were concerned and worried about you? What do you say?
I'd say, you know, if you find out that, you know, your son or your daughter is, you know, doing drugs, or even if you don't know if they're addicted or what, you know, don't give them any chances. You just got to get them help right away, because it only progresses. It's only going to get worse. So, you know, don't slack. I mean, you just find out your options, and you got to do what you know is best for your son or your daughter. You know, just don't let any time go by. Don't give them a chance, because, you know.
Did you feel that during that time with your parents that they might have been helping, thinking they were helping you, but they might have actually been enabling you?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. You know, they kept letting me get off, basically, and you know, I just kept lying to them, basically telling them what they wanted to hear, until it just became blatantly obvious that, you know, I was in a rough spot, and you know, it was tough, because I didn't want to put them through that. I didn't even want to be going through it, but, you know.
But that's a tough line for any parent. I know I've been there myself.
Oh, absolutely.
With my boys, to be able to differentiate from, am I helping?
Yes.
Or am I enabling?
Enabling, yeah.
You know, and I think the biggest piece that we've experienced or learned from that is that until the addict themselves are ready to ask for help and commit to it, that there's really almost nothing
you
that
can
the
do.
parent can do to help the addict.
Nope.
Short of enabling them.
Yeah.
Most of the time now.
Yep. They'll only get help when they realize they need help, when they want the help. And, I've done it a couple times just to appease others, went and got help. But this time I wanted it. That's why I'm clean to this day. So.
That's great. So let's shift from the parents issue. Let's shift to the addict issue. You see people out there that who might be going through a similar experience that you had. What do you say to them? If you happen to come across them.
That's tough because I don't want to come off as harsh, but I mean, like I have a friend that I'm sure you know. I mean, he is still out there, and he went to school with me since kindergarten.
Yep.
And he keeps, like I said to you before, he keeps just telling people, yeah, I'm doing good, and come to find out just recently he's now in a hospital, and like he would ask me for help, and I don't. It's tough because I would say, buddy, I love you, but I can't keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's back and forth. And I was the same way, so I know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's tough. I mean, I want to help you, but what's to say you're not going to go do it again?
So let's look at the positive things that are happening in your life today that are allowing you to stay in a recovery mode that you've had for the last 2 years. What are some of the things that you're doing today to keep focused and moving forward?
Well, I have a routine now, and routine it worked for me. Like every day I wake up 7:30, and I play with my fiance's son, my son. We play. He loves Legos, so I play Legos with him. I got the full-time job, so I'm always working. We try to do fun things all the time. Basically, I just keep myself busy. Don't give myself any free time, and because idle hands are the devil's playground, as they say. So.
Hands are the devil's playground.
I mean,
absolutely.
So basically, I just try and keep myself busy with anything.
So you've got some family connections together. You and your fiance have a child together, and that certainly is one hell of a motivator.
Absolutely.
And, I think we see that more and more, with addicts who are in recovery who have had a child, whether it's with the wife or a girlfriend or whatever, but the child becomes a kind of a central focus.
Absolutely. Yes.
And having gone through what you've been through, you want to put every effort into making sure that
doesn't happen.
That doesn't
yes.
happen.
Absolutely.
To your loved one, from that perspective.
He's my biggest fan. He's awesome, and I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize what we have now. So that's my main motivation, basically, is him.
And as you mentioned, you are working full-time now, so you have the ability to, stay focused on what you're doing in the job, and, you are earning an income to support, the loved ones that you have, your fiance and your child, and you have a home that you're living in now. That all makes it feel pretty good, I bet.
I've never had it before, and it feels great because I worked for all of it. And everything I have was because of what I'm doing, and it's a long way from sleeping outside. So, and it feels great now. I couldn't be happier.
Not like you were panhandling out there.
No.
How did that feel?
It was embarrassing. I mean, in Boston, I got my sign, and those duck boats come by, and you got people throwing money off for me, and it was very degrading. But I had to do it, and I hated every minute of it. It was tough.
So what would you say to the addict out there today who is struggling? What do they need to do?
You need to go get yourself help, because somebody out there loves you and somebody out there needs you around. anybody. You know, you might not, if you don't have family, there's friends out there that need you, you know. And it gets better, it gets easier, and you can do anything that you set your mind to. If I can do it.
That's an interesting comment. It gets easier when it's so hard for the addict to believe that it can get any easier. You know?
One day at a time. You know, it's tough at first, but as time progresses and you have more time under your belt, more sobriety under your belt, it's like you don't forget where you came from. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you don't think about it as often, and it just becomes easier. You get a routine, and you just fall into that routine, and you just keep going with it. Really.
Do you have a sponsor? Do you have a sponsor?
I don't have a sponsor. It's just only because my job takes up most of my time. That's basically how I keep my time.
You're staying focused.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm looking at the big picture.
Are you attending any meetings at all?
Sometimes, yes. My friend actually just got the first Heroin Anonymous meeting signed up for Somerville, and it starts next Friday.
Okay.
So I'll be going to that one. Yeah.
Participating in supporting one another.
Absolutely.
In your recovery.
And it's all my friends that I've grown up with too, so I'll feel comfortable speaking and stuff. So.
You do. Oh, excellent. That's good. Those are positive steps for sure.
Yeah.
Going forward, you look back on your childhood. You know, you grew up with my boys. Two of them had, some addiction issues.
Yeah.
They are now in recovery as well.
Yep.
Holding down full-time jobs and doing well. One of us blessed us with a beautiful 2.5-year-old granddaughter.
Yes, he did.
Fantastic motivator. From that perspective, you mentioned another probably friend of yours who is continuing to struggle, and we know who that is. And, we always will, as you said, somebody will be there for him. He just needs to.
Absolutely. I'll always
take
be
the
there.
Initiative
Yes.
on his own to,
exactly.
To begin the process, because again, nobody's going to begin it for the addict.
Yeah, absolutely.
The addict themselves.
You got to want it.
And. You've got a lot of that peer pressure that you experienced back when you were younger.
Yeah.
You want to, stay away from, And how's that working out for you now? Doing well? Staying away from that crowd?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I only stay with my family. I have about 2 close friends, and that's plenty for me, I lost all the bad seeds, and now I kept my... I tightened my circle.
Okay.
So, my family loves these people as if they were my family too. So, I'm in good space now. So it's good.
Excellent. And you taking the time to come down and visit with us and share with us your story is just proof positive of, your ability to take on the recovery aspect that you're in and continue to go forward in such a positive manner. I want to thank you for being with us today, Barney, and sharing with us your story. You look great.
Thank you very much.
And I want to, obviously congratulate you and your fiance going forward and your, beautiful child, and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
From here, all of us at the Deadly Silence, we want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Hello, and welcome to A Deadly Silence. I'm your host, Larry Curtis, and it's the goal of all of us associated with this program to bring you current and educational information associated with not only the alcohol, but the